Berserk? She used that word? No, I wouldn't. I mean, they trampled on my passion, man. I mean, I just thought the lunch line was be the appropriate place for it, you know? I mean, it just doesn't really. Can we talk about something else?
Look, everybody knows that Pete means well. It's just the way that he does things sometimes. I think the guy's got his heart in the right place here, but he really can come across as quite a jerk sometimes. Somewhere along the line, Pete's forgotten that it's very important to give respect if you're hoping to get it.
I just really don't understand why Pete's here, to be honest with you. Most of us come here in the summer to give these kids a good time or to serve to better them in some way. It seems like all Pete wants to do is to braid. What's that all about anyway? I mean, am I seriously the only one around here that finds this a little weird?
I remember when we kicked off the first camp, the kids were rolling in the front door and Pete was off in the corner working on his latest ankle fashion with the least bit of concern for the oncoming campers.
The thing is, it's our job as counselors to introduce ourselves to these kids as they're coming in. I mean, they're going to be getting to know us over the next couple of days, and first impressions are really important.
It's a bracelet. Come on. Seriously? Why are we even making a movie about this? It's ridiculous. You know what?
I will admit that I get a little engrossed with my passion, bracelet making, but I've never let that get in the way of the kids, you know, never intentionally.
I really started having issues with Pete a few summers ago when we were paired as counselors together. He would stay up all night working on you-know-what and wouldn't get any sleep. Each morning he started coming to breakfast a little later and slept a little more during workshops. I was pretty frustrated and I even expressed this to him a few times. Needless to say, I requested to never be paired with him again, and I haven't.
Yeah, I get how, you know, Amanda might have reasons to be mad, but I remember one day, I caught her. She was eyeing my blue angled bracelet, and it's a good possibility she's just jealous.
It's not that I don't like Pete as a person, it's just that he was really never there when I needed him. At our camp, we have 2 counselors for each mixed gender crew. This allows one counselor to be dealing with any issues and the other one to be watching over the kids to make sure they stay safe. I mean, 2 sets of eyes are always better than one, and with Pete, you could never really count on a second set.
You know, it seemed to me like Peter used to have a really rough time enforcing his words, you know, backing up what he says. Kids would do one thing, he would say another, and he would never really correct the situation. For instance, I can remember one time there was a child during leather making in 5th session. He told him not to hit the table with his hammer, and, you know, that 12-year-old boundary pushing machine just whacks away at the table. Pete didn't really do anything. He just rolled his eyes and went on.
Everyone knows that you can't let your campers push you around like that. I mean, that's Counselor 101 stuff. If you put your foot down with a good reason, you must follow through. What if next time the campers are doing something to harm themselves and you tell them to stop, but they don't?
Well, at this camp, we have a policy that maintains if you have behavioral issues with your kids, they need to have a conversation with the camp director. And it is the camp director's final say in determining what action should be taken, and, you know, sometimes we have to send the kids home as a result of their actions. It seems kind of harsh, but it really is for their safety and the safety of their campers and ours. You know, kids can get a little crazy.
I know I wasn't as assertive as I should have been, but it takes a lot of effort to escort these little kids to the director. And honestly, I mean, quite frankly, I'm a little afraid of the guy.
Aw, Pete, the poor soul. He lets the kids run all over him. It's funny sometimes, sure enough, but it's not always safe, and his crew hardly ever gets anything done.
I'm really not enjoying this. And why don't you ask me questions that make sense, like how many kids do we have come here in the summer, or how do we hire our counselors, or even what workshops we teach. These things matter to the camping environment, not braiding.
Trey? Yeah, man, Trey and I are pretty close. I mean, I know a lot of people never really understood me and the whole bracelet thing, but he was the exception. In fact, I remember Camp 1, Day 1, I gave him a friendship bracelet, and he seemed like he liked it.
I've never been one to take Pete seriously. I think my respect for young Petey boy was diminished shortly after meeting him. He was completely disconnected from everything going on at camp. He took no responsibility, and to top it all off, he weirded me out by handing me this green bracelet thing. I mean, what's up with that?
Sometimes, when I would have issues, I got through them without fear, because I knew at any moment I could call Trey, and he'd be there for me.
Honestly, I always hoped that Pete would get in some sort of jam. It was always fun to just kind of sit back, watch the poor guy melt down. He has no clue how to handle himself around kids, and truthfully, I don't think he has any business being here.
Respond to what Trey said.
It's got to be a joke, man. That's not Trey. I know Trey. Okay, we're solid.
Would you like to see the footage?
Yeah, no, it's impossible. I don't believe that. Yeah, show it to me.